Presented by Listen Headlines. Latest financial news from trusted sources. Updating daily noontime New York City.
New York Times Business.
April 30th, 10:57 America, New York. What to know about Tucker Carlson's rise. A Times examination of the host's career and singular influence at Fox News shows how his trajectory traces the transformation of American conservatism itself.
New York Times Business.
April 30th, 10:45 America, New York. How Tucker Carlson reshaped Fox News, and became Trump's heir. As the host turned a civil war at Fox to his advantage, he found himself at the forefront of the nativist forces transforming conservative politics.
The Library of Economics and Liberty.
April 30th, 9:03 America, New York. Economic Storytelling. In this episode, Nobel laureate Robert Shiller discusses with a somewhat skeptical Russ Roberts the extent to which narratives affect the fluctuations of the economy.
Wall Street Journal Markets.
April 30th, 9 o'clock America, New York. Investors are waiting for vehicle prices to drop. Manufacturers need to work with dealers to rationalize the retail process and limit discounting.
Wall Street Journal Markets.
April 30th, 8:22 America, New York. Berkshire Hathaway profits fall. Warren Buffett's company says its first quarter earnings declined, hurt by investment losses and weaker results in its insurance underwriting business.
Global economy.
April 30th, 7 o'clock America, New York. Pressure on Chinese renminbi hits other emerging market currencies. Gains for commodity-rich nations have waned on economic growth concerns.
New York Times Business.
April 30th, 6:15 America, New York. Sunflower oil vanishes as Ukraine war grinds on. Several British supermarkets have joined other chains around the world in asking shoppers to limit their cooking oil purchases, as supplies dwindle and prices rise. Global cooking oil shortages, exacerbated by the war in Ukraine, have led to purchase restrictions in Ashford, England.
Wall Street Journal U.S. Business. April 30th, 5:33 America, New York. Tariff probe casts shadow on U.S. solar build-out. A U.S. investigation into Asian solar panels has created uncertainty for developers and manufacturers and caused widespread delays and cancellations.
The Library of Economics and Liberty.
April 30th, 4 o'clock America, New York. Creative destruction comes from iDrinkWorks. In early 2021, as the pandemic entered its second year, I gave my wife a DrinkWorks home bar for Valentine's Day. A joint venture of Keurig, Dr. Pepper, and Anheuser-Busch, the Jazzy machine combines water, CO2, and pods of drink concentrate to make cocktails, beer, and cider much like a Keurig turns out coffee. Marginal revolution.
April 30th, 3:30 America, New York. What is your most underappreciated paper? If you are a scholar working primarily in the social sciences and/or humanities with at least 4,000 Google Scholar citations, we hereby invite you to identify one or two publications with publication date 2012 or prior, and for which the count is lower than your present H-index, that you consider underappreciated.
Armstrong Economics.
April 30th, 001 America, New York. Biden crime family. The post-Biden crime family first appeared on Armstrong Economics.
Global economy.
April 30th, 0 America, New York. Inflation. Low expectations set the stage for further surprise. Central bank predictions of a transitory period went well wide of the mark and their miscalculations could continue.
Wall Street Journal U.S. Business.
April 29th, 22:03 America, New York. Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick could walk away with more than $500 million after Microsoft deal. A Friday securities filing lays out the longtime video game boss's stake in the Call of Duty publisher and potential severance.
Daily FX Market News.
April 29, 2200 America, New York. Australian dollar forecast. Will the RBA hike? If so, AUD, USD still faces roadblocks. The Australian dollar underperformed against the US dollar last week despite a hotter than expected local CPI report. Could an RBA rate hike revive AUD, USD bulls?
Finance and Economics.
April 29th, 2000 America, New York. Slow pain or fast pain? The implications of low investment yields. A new book on living with low expected returns.
Finance and Economics.
April 29th, 2000 America, New York. How would an energy embargo affect Germany's economy? Researchers draw some lessons from past episodes.
Wall Street Journal U.S. Business.
April 29, 1947 America New York, Pfizer's COVID pill failed study testing its preventive use. Paxlovid, authorized to treat people at high risk of severe disease within a few days of infection, wasn't found to prevent symptomatic infections in a study.
BBC News. Business.
April 29, 1932 America New York, Chancellor breaks pledge on energy bills. Rishi Sunak said a £150 council tax rebate would be paid in April, but guidance now says, from April.
BBC News Business.
April 29, 1932 America New York, Chancellor breaks pledge on energy bills. Rishi Sunak said a £150 council tax rebate would be paid in April, but guidance now says, from April.
BBC News Business. April 29, 1726 America New York, Amazon sell-off ends dismal month for U.S. shares. Major U.S. stock indexes took a slide in April, with the tech-heavy Nasdaq seeing its worst month since 2008.
BBC News. Business.
April 29, 1726 America New York, Amazon sell-off ends dismal month for U.S. shares. Major U.S. stock indexes took a slide in April, with the tech-heavy Nasdaq seeing its worst month since 2008.
Wall Street Journal Markets.
April 29, 1619 America New York, Alimentation Couche-Tard, EG Group in deal talks. Two of the world's biggest convenience store chains are discussing a deal that would value British retailer EG Group at roughly $16 billion or more including debt, people familiar with the matter said.
BBC News Business.
April 29, 1453 America New York, Russia says it has made payments to avoid debt default. Moscow has paid interest on foreign bonds in dollars but admits there are difficulties with payments.
BBC News. Business. April 29, 1453 America New York, Russia says it has made payments to avoid debt default. Moscow has paid interest on foreign bonds in dollars but admits there are difficulties with payments.
Global economy.
April 29, 1315 America New York, pandemic disruption to global business is far from over. Eurozone stagflation fears, Twitter battle heats up, flying taxis.